Morning. It's been a long 2 days. We've done a ton of stuff over the past 2 days, and I went ahead and just grabbed cameras and shot a bunch of stuff. But this is the finished product, and you can see that my golf course is starting to return. This is the backyard. Now the backyard was different. The backyard we left very, very short all through the winter. So, and the areas that get more sun are going to green up fast. But this is about March 14th, and I'm really happy with that. It's really starting to green up early. Looks nice. What I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to cram together 2 days. Jacob came over, May came over. I don't think you've ever met May, and started training her on some yard stuff. We've got 5 lawns basically to take care of this year and do testing on and all kinds of stuff. So I needed some help this year. I'm just stretched way too thin. So that's what we're going to do in this video. We're going to cram together a whole bunch of stuff, give you guys some real good information, give you some updates, and let you know what's going on. So hold on one sec. Hey guys, it's Doc, and before I begin, make sure you hit that subscribe button because we've got a ton of videos we're going to be doing on the gardening, on humichar, on making soil, on all kinds of stuff. So we got a ton of videos. We're going to try and keep you a little bit entertained while everyone's locked inside their houses. So hit that subscribe button. Next, don't forget everything. If you're a little bit confused about where your lawn should be or what you should be doing, the Bermuda Lawn Guide is out, and it walks you through the entire year. It tells you what products to use. There's a calendar on there, everything. In the description below, I did something a little bit different for this video. I went ahead and listed individually a bunch of different products on that page. So there's always one link that will take you over to our website. There's a specific page, and you'll see this video on that page, and there's information and product links directly on that page. So I went ahead and listed a lot of the products that you might need for this spring, and I'll tell you why here in a minute. Back in January, we started talking about this whole infectious thing that's happening to us. And we started telling people, you're probably going to see some supply shortages coming up. Now that was back in January, we were talking about that. And of course, it really didn't make news until late February, but we were basically already prepared at our business, and even at the house, we were all set, so we don't have anything to worry about. But I did want to let you guys know that there are going to be supply interruptions. Things are going to get delayed. You're going to find a few product shortages, and I really recommend that this year what people do is don't try and plan for a couple weeks. I want you to plan for several months out for your lawn care, and taking care of your families too, but also your lawn care stuff. As an example, I got on the phone with Andersons the other day and was talking to them, and like every other business, a lot of their administrative staff, people are starting to work from home. So they're pushing their people out from their facility and they're sending them home. They're going to have, even in the production in their plants, they're going to have shortages of people in there. So things are going to start to slow down. I'm just warning you. Just be aware of that. So what I'm doing now is I'm thinking almost all the way through the summer and stuff that I might need, and that's why I'm listing all these products on the page for you guys. Okay, so what are we doing today? Today, well actually it's 2 days, we had basically our full lawn care schedule. So our full lawn care schedule, the beginning stages of this. Now we already did our quick start. We put down some humichar and we put out a soil correction weeks ago. And so that's all done. But now this is the beginning of the spring season, and this is the stuff that you want to be doing. Number one, we're scalping down our Bermuda really short to the point that we want it to. So we're doing our finished scalping. That's number one. Number two, we're putting out PGF Complete. We're putting down PGF Complete, and right now I'm putting it out about 1.5 times the bag rate, a little bit heavier to get it down and get this stuff going. The next thing I'm doing is we're going to spray some super juice. It's just a good time to make sure every blade of grass gets a little bit of nutrients, and that's why I like the super juice. Is not only PGF Complete gives you real good coverage because it's fine particles, but then we come back on with super juice to make sure every single blade of grass, now that we're turning green, that every single blade of grass is getting a little bit of nutrients. So that's why I'm going to spray some super juice. Okay guys, so this is May. Malin's going to be joining us a few times this year. She's going to be helping out. I know her from the farm. her boyfriend True actually manages a beautiful, I'll put it up, a beautiful 600-acre farm. Absolutely stunning. And where were we this time last week?
We were at the farm.
And what were we doing?
Pig hunting.
We were pig hunting. And why were we pig hunting?
Well, because the pigs, they are basically a nuisance, and so they eat all of our crops.
They destroy it. You see the damage that these things do. Now we're not talking about Babe in the city. We're talking about 200 to 350 pound pigs. You go out in a field and there'll be 30 or 50 pigs just tearing up the crops. Matter of fact, they got electric fence around the crops. That's the extent they've had to go to. So True said, hey, if you guys want to come up and help me and shoot some pigs, you still got to shoot some more, because they're getting ready to, next month we're going to go up and do a little bit of testing up on the farm, agriculture-wise, with humichar and some fertilizers, because they're getting ready to what?
To grow some corn.
Grow some corn. We're getting ready to plant some corn up there and do some planting and stuff like that. So May's going to help out. Jacob is here too. You guys have seen Jacob before. He's over from my shop. We're going to do a little bit of reel cutting. I'm going to train him on the reel mowers. We're going to put out some PGF Complete. We're going to spray some Super Juice. Yesterday, Jacob and I came out here and we busted our butts. He even said, I'm sore. It's a lot of walking. Because we haven't touched the backyard. We haven't touched the backyard since November. We haven't done anything back here. So we just sort of just let it sit back here. Now you'll see a lot of poana, these green blotches. I don't have anything on my front yard because I put down real heavy pre-emergent in the fall. Back here, I didn't put down pre-emergent. So all these little green spots that we're going to be cutting down, I have double treated them, but poana dies off anyways. It'll die off when the heat comes, and you'll see us, we'll be cutting that. But I want them to get a feel for the reel mowers, learn how to use the spreaders. Jacob was trained on that last week, and then we'll do a little bit of spraying of Super Juice, and that's it. So here we go. Okay, so let's talk about these two reel mowers. I guarantee you that this will be your favorite one because it just feels light to push, okay? Mm-hmm. So this one, you can basically go with two hands and it's just real nice and easy to use. This one, it's a beast, so you can't freewheel it at all that much. Reel mowers basically have two functions. They have a blade that spins, and then they have a wheel drive. This one has clutches. Mm-hmm. So this one, we lock the blade in place, the blade will start turning, and then you do this and you feather and it'll go and you'll see it'll go. I'll show you what I'm doing here. But I want you to try this one at least. Okay? What I was telling him is that anytime that you have to stop for a long time, like something, you got to go pick something up, or you really need to disengage the blades because they can get a little bit hot. Okay, now on this mower is a little bit different. When I start it up, you're going to notice that it only has one. This one will engage the cutting blades and this drive wheel. This drive wheel will start spinning. But here's the nice thing about this. You can raise and lower that. So, and it gets a little confusing, and I may just stick you on this one because this is the one you'll be using more often. So, I can actually do this, and I can actually be cutting, and I can actually push it by hand and cut. When I'm ready to go, I drop my wheel, then I go like this, and it'll automatically drive with me. Whenever I want to stop, just let go. Now this is kind of the mind bender here, because this one is weird to get used to this. And the other thing I found is if I have to cut a lot of grass, I actually start to get like tendonitis in here because it's just having to hold that and push it. Well, you feather it. It's just like a motorbike. It's just like a throttle. So you can just let go and you'll stop. When you get to the end of the row, you can actually sort of just barely touch it, and then it'll allow you to turn because the wheels will let you do that. What'd you say?
I said my line's maybe a little crooked, but it'll be okay.
My lines might be a little crooked, but I think it'll be okay. She did great. First time reel cutting?
Yes.
First time reel cutting. I like riding 0 turns.
Yeah, 0 turns where it's at.
But no, it looks really good. But you actually played high school golf, right?
Yes.
And you said what? It reminds you of?
Playing golf.
Playing golf, because it looks like a golf course back here. Because we're cutting it, oh gosh, we're maybe, what, ½ an inch? Yeah. This is what I call fairway height. The average golf player plays on something like this. PGA Tour, they're playing off 1/8 of an inch. But the average golf course is playing at about ½ an inch. That's what you'll find. And that's where these reel mowers, these reel mowers, especially the McLean that I like. This one, is your thumb sore at all?
Yes.
Okay, so here it is. She's been cutting for 20 minutes and your thumb is sore. Now I say that a lot and people don't believe me, but you start doing this, now you do your backyard, now you do your front yard, now go do barbs, now go whatever, and by the end of it, I have tendonitis, so that's why I like the other one. So what I'm gonna do is I'm probably gonna pull Jacob a little. Well, actually I'm gonna let her do a little bit more so I can get it on video for you guys, and then I'll let Jacob sort of finish up the rough areas, and then we'll do some other stuff, some PGF and Super Juice. Okay, we're not going to do a PGF Complete class, but Malin has never seen PGF Complete. Basically, what we're going to do is, this is the first PGF Complete treatment of the year. Now, this is a spring fertilizer. It's complete, it's balanced, has everything that your lawn and almost every plant would need. Now, I do throw this on all my shrubs, all my plants, all my gardens. People ask me that. I put it out everywhere. We're going to put it out. We're going to put it out at a pretty heavy rate, just because we're getting all this rain and we've got a break, so I don't know when I'm gonna be able to put more down, so I'm gonna put it out medium heavy rate. Okay, so everyone always asks me where I set my spreader. Airplane. My spreader opening is just over 1/4 of an inch typically. The numbers don't match up on this thing depending on how you set it up, so I always have my slot at about just over 1/4 of an inch. Is typically where I'll do it. Here's what you got to visualize. You got to visualize a round cone that's going out 4 to 5 feet on this side, 4 to 5 feet on this side. You always have it in this position, okay? When you're ready to go, open it, then go, and you're gonna be spreading. And basically what I do is I look straight ahead of me, and I just follow. I pick a spot and I just go. And when I get to the end of it, actually before the end of it, because you're going to be throwing a pattern, go ahead and look down and make sure it's in there. Okay. Okay, make sure it's in there. Then here's the trick. So if I know I'm throwing 4 feet this way, I'm also going to be throwing 4 feet back when I come back. So here's what I do. When I get to the end, when I turn, I go 3 feet, 3 feet in, and then look for my spot. Does that make sense? So, and this is good for you guys too. When I'm going along, I'm staring at a bush right here, right now, and I'm just gonna go straight towards that bush. When I get close to the end, I'm gonna look down and make sure this thing locks, otherwise it'll keep falling out. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take up the 3 feet and the 3 feet that the other pass will do, and that's how I know. It's a ballpark and you'll be able to see it. When you're pushing it along, you see that little stand thing? Mm-hmm. You want to keep that to where it's almost touching the ground. Okay. There's a reason why. If you were to push like this and you hit a bump, the whole spreader would spill. If you keep it back, it won't. Secondly, look at the angle of the thrower. Come over here and look at the angle of the thrower. What's it doing? It's throwing up and out, and you get a bigger throw. Got the whole crew running now. So Malin's putting out fertilizer. Jacob's down there cutting. He's finished cutting in. Again, we're doing this real fine golf course scalp on the back. And then next thing we'll do is we'll come out here and we'll spray with some super juice. Now, I already did a humichar treatment back here. Again, humichar, because of what's going on with the flu virus thing, you know, we're looking at least probably 3 weeks before it's back up on Amazon. What we're doing now is we're going to spray some super juice. This is a great time of the year to do it. May's just stretching out the hose. I only do super juice probably about once a month. I put, the main thing is PGF Complete and super juice right now. That's what you want. Humichar and organic matter we'll be doing in a couple of weeks. And once Humichar is available again, I'll show you the organic matter and Humichar together. So the super juice is a mild fertilizer supplement. PGF Complete is going to take a while to work into the ground, over 4 weeks. Super juice is a liquid, which means that once you spray it, it's on. It gets absorbed by the leaves, goes right into the ground, so it's sort of like a little bit of a kickstart. So that's why this time of year I like to do both of them. PGF Complete, super juice, put everything down. Now you want to get it down. So we're going to spray a little bit. Okay guys, so let me go ahead and let me go over what I'm doing with my super juice this year so you can understand. I'm doing some adjustments to it, and this is the nice thing about super juice is you can make some adjustments to it however you need it. Okay, so this is super juice. It's a dry mix. You add it to warm water, and then there are new spray bottles that I'll have in the description below. These are the new spray bottles that Anderson had listed for us. They're a 20-to-1 ratio, and you have very little problem with clogging. The old ones used to clog a lot. So the spray bottle link will be on the page below. So I'm putting warm water, add my super juice to the warm water. Now super juice is not just nutrients, it's very, very mild. It's a 7:1:2 ratio, but it has humic acid and it has sea kelp inside of it. So those are two things that are good for a spring lawn, the humic acid and the sea kelp. It also has iron, micronutrients, it has all kinds of stuff in it that your lawn needs. But this year, my lawn tested low on phosphorus this year. So what I'm doing is this is Bloom Booster, and it's like a 555. So it's very high in phosphorus. So I'm adding a bunch of this into the super juice mix. Now I will tell you, this is a granular form. They also have a liquid form, which is better. If you use the granular, mix your granular first before you add it to your super juice, because it can crystallize a little bit. So I'm putting like 2 or 3 packets inside of this just to bump up my phosphorus a little bit. The next thing I'm doing is, this is a Microbial Pack, and again I'll put a link to the Microbial Pack on that page. I hope I remember to do that. If I forget, put a comment below and remind me. Okay, so our lawns really do better when there's really good microbial activity. That's what happens. That's what really helps our lawns. And we're coming off the winter, and this is why we don't use organic fertilizers in the early spring. It's because our microbial activity is very low. But I'm at the point where it's starting to get kind of warm. The low is 50, the highs are in the 70s, almost touching 80 sometimes. So I add, you only have to add, after I get everything mixed up, what I'll do is I'll mix in a couple tablespoons of this stuff. Now this stuff's expensive. This little bag, I forget, is like 20-something bucks. You only need like a tablespoon. And if you use warm tap water, you mix up all your materials, you put that in, and sometimes I'll leave it overnight because those microbes can actually start to replicate themselves. They can actually start to duplicate. So you can leave it overnight or just let it sit for an hour or so. But spraying this will kind of boost up the microbial activity in your lawn, and that's the nice thing. So I'm not just spraying a fertilizer on my lawn. That's not what I'm doing. I'm spraying humic acid, I'm spraying sea kelp, I'm spraying micronutrients, I'm spraying some extra microbial activity into it. And then of course we use a little bit of green dye. Okay, so the green dye. The green dye is not used to color your lawn, by the way. The green dye is just an indicator to make sure that the ingredients are coming out. Spray bottles, and I use this green dye. If I buy something off the shelf, I add green dye to it, just a tablespoon or two. Just because hose end sprayers, you never know when they're going to stop working. And so when you see green coming out, you know that the material, the chemical or whatever is coming out too. That's why we use it. You can also use it as a marker, but Super Juice is so mild, you don't have to worry about overlapping, and you're not going to burn your lawn. It's very, very mild. The main thing is I'm getting humic acid right away in. I'm getting sea kelp right away in. I'm getting some extra phosphorus right away in, and boosting up some micros, which is always a good idea. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to mix it up, put it in the spray bottles, and we're ready to go. So what I told May was, I just like to, especially when you have a beginner on this, just make a triangle and spray the triangle and stop. Make a triangle, spray the triangle, stop. That's the best way to do it. Watch your wind direction. Now there's nothing toxic in this, it's just nutrients, that's all it is. But you don't want it all blowing on you, so if I know the wind's coming this way, I'll sort of be over this way and spray it. So I'm going to spray the first triangle, then I'll let her do the second one. And basically I just look at triangles. Sometimes I'll take a path like you would the spreader, and I'll walk down the yard and just spray it. Now, here's one of the secrets. If I keep my spray angle straight down, I'm not going to cover much. If I keep my spray angle a little bit up, I'm going to have a much finer mist, and that's probably the way that I like to spray it. I like to spray it a little bit more up, and then it'll cover more evenly rather than down, because this will only cover, these new bottles only cover 1,500 to 2,000 square feet. So we got to keep changing them out. So let me show you real quick. Since we know the wind's kind of blowing this way, instead of maybe doing triangles, maybe what we'll do is we'll do a whole strip. So maybe do like a 8 to 10 foot from the fence over, and just slowly just walk. And again, keep that angle of the hose up, of the sprayer up, so that you're more misting. Then you can turn around and come back another 8 feet. Get all the way to the fence, slow down. One thing that she's doing is there are some areas that are not getting it because she's continually walking but going slowly. So if you're going to walk fast, you got to go back and forth fast. Now that little tip may seem stupid, but did you get the feel for it more so?
I did, yes.
Because now, and I could just see it just from doing it, I know myself that I want to really cover all the ground. That's putting it out pretty light, so we may go back and double spray here, but she's never used it. Actually, Jacob's never sprayed either. I'm going to have him spray Barb's lawn later, but I wanted her to get used to spraying too. All right, so we've got PGF Complete Fertilizer down for the spring. We have scalped it down to a very, very low height, and we sprayed it with Super Juice. Those are kind of the things you guys should be thinking about right now too. And again, make sure that you order early. Please, please plan. Go over to the Bermuda Lawn Guide and check all the stuff that you need. I'm going to show you just what the lawns look like and some of the differences. It's kind of cool actually to look at the difference between the backyard, which is really short, and the front yards. I'll show you that here in a minute. Don't forget, click that subscribe, because I'm going to take you up to that farm and I'm going to show you we're going to be doing humichar and some fertilizers up on the crop up there on some test rows. It's going to be really cool. Also, we're working on our home garden here, vegetable garden. I'll be doing that, a bunch of different stuff. So let me show you. So this area of the lawn over here actually gets a lot of sun, and it's really short. Linda's over here. Over here, you can start to see it doesn't get as much sun over there. But look at how green some of this is over here already. This is pretty cool. Like, look at this right here. That's amazing right there. Isn't it, Linda? Come here. Isn't it amazing? Isn't it amazing? But that stuff is just really good looking. But now, let me walk you out and let me show you my front yard. I'll show you Barb's front yard, and I'll show you the test yard across the street. And you'll notice there's a sizable difference from the varying heights coming off of dormancy. So this is my front yard. This is a side strip, and you can start to see that I'm having some green come up. I have quite a bit of sprigs of green over here, but I want you to look at Barb's, which was really tall. And you can see Barb's, which was really tall, and we just scalped it, started scalping it. And it looks real brown. Here's a good example right here. I showed this to Malin the other day. Here's my property line. And see how I've actually got lots of green coming up here. And then right next to it, that's Barb's, almost nothing. So this was treated with Humichar and the Quick Start program, and it's just a little bit quicker. It's about 2 weeks ahead. Here's the test patch. And then the world's worst down there. And then here's the front yard. And it's starting to get a little bit of haze of green on it. Now, once it rains, and we have some warm temps and some rains coming up this week, you're going to see a huge amount of, it's just going to turn green really quickly. By the way, I'm also doing, so you know, we did a special mulch treatment this year. This was done yesterday, and I'm going to show you guys a special mulch treatment to fight weeds and bugs in your mulch. That'll be in the next video coming up. So it's funny because I went in this morning and I said I better get some more PGF complete. And I went to order 40-pound bags. The 40-pound bags are out. So I ordered 18-pound bags. It really doesn't matter. 18 pounds are actually easier to handle. But I did talk to Anderson's, and they do have more being shipped out later this week. So just be aware that, dude, everything's going to be really crazy the next month or two, supply chain wise. I just want you guys to be one step ahead of everything and make sure that you have what you need in stock for the long term. Hope you enjoyed this. It was a little bit different video, bringing some people in. Hope you enjoyed it, and talk to you later. Doc.